Hey everybody, PM Kester here with how to take a break. And it's the end of the month. Well, actually, it's the beginning of another month because this video is probably not coming out until February the 2nd. But that just means it's time for me to talk about 5 things that I did for myself during the month of January. I started these videos back in October, just as a way to show how I am prioritizing taking a break in my life. And we know that taking a break is more than just rest. It's like, what are you doing? How are you setting aside the time to achieve the things or do the things that you need to do mentally, physically, spiritually? So I hope these videos help. And without further ado, let's get into it. So 5 things I did in January. January was an interesting month. I live in Georgia, and not even Georgia. If you live in the Southeast, you know that we have had some crazy weather the past couple of weeks. And I think this week that we're currently in, we have to think about it. It's supposed to be like the last week of like this crazy 3-week winter weather cycle. I'm hoping that we're done, but who knows? Who knows? All that being said is that the weather actually impacted one of the major things that I wanted to take a break and do for myself in January. But that's great because that means by the time we get to the video for February, maybe I'll have some photos and more details to share. But it does lead to a question if like the weather and things have affected things that you wanted to do with yourself, for yourself in January. Please let me know in the comments. But these are 5 things that I did for myself in January. Number 1, dedicated pajama day. This probably sounds like a whole lot of nothing, but this is actually something I have worked with my therapist on. I cannot sleep in. So many people sleep in and they're in bed, sleep until like 10 or 11. The latest I have ever slept is 8 a.m. If I sleep any later than that, I'm willing to bet that I'm sick, and it's usually something like asthma related. So like I got up in the middle of the night and that threw me off. And so then I'm sleeping maybe to 9, but it's still very rare. And so something that my therapist has had me do is just kind of almost like dare myself not to get out of bed. So even if I'm not sleeping in, like even when I wake up, like don't move, like just kind of stay in bed, like stay in a state of rest. And so I'll have some days where like I do it, but usually I'm like up and dressed by like 11 or 12 at like the latest. But I had a couple of days. One was thanks to the weather, and everything, being shut down and being told we couldn't leave. But I did 2 mindful days of just like, I'm going to stay in bed. I'm going to stay in my pajamas all day and stay in the blanket and just like read a book, watch TV, and maybe even like do a little work or whatever from bed, which goes into like something else. But being in that state of rest, even if the rest is not me sleeping, but just like not rushing. And I do find that I'm one of those people, and I've gotten better at it, where I feel like I have to be busy or that I have to rush and do certain things. And I push back on people because now, as I've kind of mellowed out some on that, I'm still surrounded by people who are just like, gotta go, push. And it's like, we're not there in that state anymore. I would rather ease and rest. And just, it helps you so mentally. So dedicated pajama days. That was a nice thing I did for myself. Number 2, I had a mall day, which sounds so high school. I recognized during Christmas, I think I did this in Christmas, I got on the train and I went to the mall because it's something that I rarely do. Um, I don't like big crowds of people and walking around. But I've also recognized that it's very hard for me to spend like big amounts of money on myself. And I have just been prioritizing myself more, like, my wardrobe, kind of like I'm growing into like my sense of style, and doing things for myself. And so I prioritize going to the mall and just kind of hanging out at the mall for a day. And it was great. Like I had lunch, um, tried on clothes, which I hate trying on clothes in the store. I just hate like all the fussiness or whatever. But found like the perfect pair of jeans, two pair, and never would have found it online. And it actually just eased my mind to like not. I didn't worry about work. I didn't have to worry about getting a kid back and forth somewhere or anything like that. I just kind of allowed myself to be off and like kind of have fun. Um, and just went and hung out at the mall. Which was also interesting too, because you see all these videos talking about malls dying and things like that. People were there. People were there. I think maybe people are coming back to the malls. It's frustrating though, because you do find when you do go in that there are certain things that a store may not have because they've moved so much online. But it was nice to go out and find a restaurant attached to the mall and go eat, and go in and out of stores, and the music, the whole energy of the mall. It was very nostalgic. So I think that's definitely something like maybe quarterly. It was nice to spend money on myself. So it might be a quarterly thing because it was really nice. I enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying kind of prioritizing my style journey. So number 2, mall day. Number 3, healthy me prioritization. What do I mean by that? I made a whole list of things that I wanted to do for my health at the end of December. So January was about me putting these things into action and not going back on the promises that I made myself. So I have been tracking my food, also keeping a food journal because I really want to look at things that are triggering issues with perimenopause. I have asthma, stuff that is causing issues with that. I've had some heart issues in the past. So I'm being very diligent because, I want to enjoy this next phase of life I'm going into. And I can't do that if I'm always sick. I'm always having issues with like my chest or my asthma. If it's hurting me to walk or my back is always hurting. I don't want to do that. Like 45 is still young and I'm ready to be an empty nester. There's so much I want to do. So I'm really doubling down on that. I also started taking Pilates twice a month. And so that was one of the promises I made myself because I find that when I have done that in the past, it has helped me better tone my body. It also has helped a lot with issues with my spine. I have scoliosis and I have a metal rod in my spine. And when I've done it in the past, like just consistently, I've noticed great results. And so I'm trying to get back to basics somewhat with my health and like the things that I have done that have yielded great results and made me feel my best. So I'm thinking back when I was at my best, what was I doing? And those were some of the things: tracking the food, prioritizing water, getting a certain amount of steps in a day, all of that. And so, yeah, that's what it was to me. So like, I did this, I'm tracking my workouts too. And I've been averaging 5 to 7 days each week working out. And it's nothing major. It's not like I'm going in the gym for an hour. It's like 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, a day some days. But those little bits do so much and have helped me mentally and physically. So I'm super excited about that. Number 4, I deleted Instagram off of my phone. And Threads may be next. And I love Threads. But I also recognize that it's just not great. I hate getting that report of like how much time I'm spending on my phone every Sunday. And I did do better in January because it had gotten to a point where it was like almost like it was 9 hours. It wasn't almost, it was like 9 hours and over 9 hours on my phone was the daily average. And I was like, no, no, no. So I have gotten it down. After deleting Instagram, I got it down to like 7. And so now I only have Instagram. I have Instagram on my iPad, but Instagram on your iPad is like not great. There's only limited stuff you do. So, and then I have like a 1 hour time limit set up. And so once it goes off, like I'm off. I use up that hour and it's gone. And it is painful to use it on my iPad. And so I know that I'm in the right direction. Also, if I pick up my iPad, I'm more likely to read a book or flip through a magazine that's on my iPad, which is what I want because I want to use that time to do other things. And I just feel like social media will key you in to like, for me, to end up doing a bunch of mindless scrolling, which I don't. And I know that sounds crazy because I post a lot of stuff on social media to talk about the YouTube channel, to talk about my book, Cycles by P.M. Kester, and my different projects. But it's something I had to do for my health. And if you have to do it, I encourage you to. And it was a nice thing that I did for myself in January. Number 5. I prioritize batching content. This was also another thing. It helped me reduce the amount of time that I was spending on social media instead of me having to look at my phone each day to like post stuff. I basically spent like an hour or 2 every Sunday just batching a bunch of stuff. So the 30-day confidence challenge, all of that was batch content that I use Buffer to program it to go out to my different social media. So I set it and forget it. And yes, I could think of many other things I would rather do on a Sunday, but I'm happy that I'm doing that on Sunday. So now that I have more time to do other things for myself during the week, which is going to come in so clutch in February. I can't wait to tell you why in February. But prioritizing batching the content has helped me out mentally a lot. And it actually did really good for the confidence challenge and stuff that I was pushing, to have it out there, to have the batch content. Yeah. So hopefully this wasn't a rambling video, but 5 things I did for myself, 5 nice things I did for myself in January. Number 1, dedicated pajama day. Number 2, mall day. Number 3, healthy me prioritization. Number 4, deleted social media from my phone. Number 5, batched content. What is something nice that you did for yourself in January? Drop a comment. Let me know. It might be something that I put into action in one of the coming months. Until next time, find a little time to take a break.